Hey everybody, it's review time again, and I'm reviewing something that's not quite a firework this time, but nonetheless they're made by Prestigious Pyrotechnics, who do make fireworks. So I hope you'll bear with me on this. These are confetti cannons. Handheld confetti cannons. I've got three different ones here. I've got a white one that's 20 centimetres long, a multicoloured one that's 20 centimetres long, and a white one that's 30 centimetres long. And as you can see, it's got a bigger diameter as well. So how do these work? Well, you can see there's arrows on the side here. Basically what you do is you twist this bottom section here, and that will release all the contents of the streamers. Now, the ones that I've seen of these in the past tend to have a big spring at the bottom, so when you unscrew this, it basically releases the spring, and that's what ejects all the confetti. These ones actually used compressed air. So it's going to be interesting to see how these perform. Let's have a look at the instructions for use on here. Instructions for use: hold firmly on the upper tube with one hand and point upright away from obstructing objects. Use the other hand to twist the bottom of the section to operate, so we're going to twist it that way. Do not use near naked flames. Do not open or pierce the tubes. Do not point at people. Not suitable for use by children under 14 years of age. And this confetti cannon is operated by compressed air canister, which will eject tissue into the air. So saying not technically fireworks or pyrotechnics, but you need to be at least 14 years old according to the instructions on here to be able to use these safely. So let's have a look at the warnings. Warning: when fired, this confetti cannon will make a sharp noise. Safe for both indoor and outdoor use. Please ensure you have sufficient height clearance, which is approximately 4 meters. So if you are going to use these indoors, you need to make sure you've got a ceiling that's at least 4 meters high. And these are made by Prestigious Pyrotechnics. Also biodegradable, which is interesting. So the paper confetti in here, in these, is biodegradable. I think they do a gold coloured one as well, with shiny kind of gold confetti, which isn't biodegradable. But the three I've got here, the two white ones and the colour ones, are biodegradable. I'm also going to be interesting to see the colour confetti in here, whether that is colour safe, and by that I mean, do the colours run if they're submerged in water? Because obviously I'm going to fire these outside. I'm not going to fire these in my house because my wife will kill me with all the cleaning up. I'll be finding bits for ages. So I'm going to fire these outside in my garden. I'm not concerned about them because the confetti is biodegradable, but I want to see if the colours on the coloured ones will kind of seep out, or whether the colours stay within the confetti as well. So these are brand new from Prestigious Pyrotechnics, confetti cannons, compressed air, two 20 centimetre ones and a 30 centimetre one. Let's see how these perform. So what did I think of the confetti cannons from Prestigious Pyrotechnics? These were a lot of fun. The label did warn that they would make a sharp noise, and they actually made quite a bang. I was a little surprised, in fact, just how loud these were. Okay, so when I've used handheld twist to activate confetti cannons in the past, they've tended to be spring-loaded. These are the first ones I fired that use compressed air rather than a spring. And the difference between mechanisms is really noticeable. Volume aside, these compressed air-fired cannons reach an impressive height. I can understand why their labels recommend a vertical clearance of 4 meters. Now, I was expecting the larger 30 centimetre cannon to reach an even greater height than its 20 centimetre counterparts, but interestingly, the heights on all of them were about the same. That said, the 30 centimetre cannon was significantly better than the 20 centimetre version. For starters, the individual confetti pieces were larger and there were more of them. Because the pieces were larger, they fluttered in the air for a longer time too. So the overall effect, whilst the same height, was a lot more impressive from the 30 centimetre cannon. Oh, and it had an even louder bang too. Now, the paper confetti in the white and multicoloured versions of these confetti cannons are biodegradable, but I thought it'd be interesting to do a little test to see whether the dye in the coloured tissue is indeed colour tight, or whether the colours would run. So I picked up a handful of ejected coloured pieces from my lawn, put them in a bowl and added some water. "30 minutes later, and there was no indication that the colours were starting to run. So I have no concerns over letting the ejected paper just rot down into my lawn over the winter. For reference, in the spent cannons, there was a small quantity of tissue which didn't eject from the white versions, as can be seen in this photo, but these unejected quantities are negligible given the total amount of confetti packed into these devices. Okay, so let's look at the price. The RRP, or recommended retail price, for 30cm prestigious pyrotechnics cannon is £4.99. But they can typically be purchased for around £3.60, with the 20cm version being a little cheaper still. You know, I would absolutely pay £3.60 for one of these. They're sure to make any indoor or outdoor event or celebration go with, quite literally, a bang. Just make sure that if you're letting these off indoors, that the ceilings are high enough. And I'd also suggest not activating one right next to someone's ear. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, why not check out some more of my content by subscribing to my channel.